Hello Infiniteers! Today I'm going to finish up the build exercise for my Asgard toy box by building the Royal Palace and particularly the throne room. Excuse me. So let me go into Spark mode here, because if I don't, the Hulk's going to start growling at me. Now the throne room appears to be different in the first Thor movie and its sequels. In the first movie, the throne sat in a large open area like you see here, but in the second and third movies, it sat in a long, tall hallway with rows of columns. And I chose to build the throne room from the sequels instead of the original because I like that version better, and it was easier to build in the toy box. You can see the entrance to this hallway at the end. Unfortunately, we don't know what it looks like from the outside, so I had to make something up. I'll get to that in a moment. Notice the hallway itself is rather wide, and in between each column there's a set of stairs. And behind the columns there appears to be a mesh of some kind that covers the windows. This shot here gives us a better look at that. At the end of the hallway is the throne, and I wish this seat was available as an interior decoration, but unfortunately it isn't. So if you want a throne, you'll have to pick a different decoration instead. Here's another shot of the throne that shows the hallway around it. It appears there's another hallway that extends left and right to either side of the throne. So this is what I'm going to build today, and since we don't have any views for the exterior of the front of the palace, I chose to build something that looks similar to the hub from the 2.0 toy box game Assault on Asgard. And it won't be exactly like this because we don't have those arches over the alcoves, but this was my inspiration for it. Now to save a little time, I've already placed some of the foundation blocks for the palace, and I'll show you what I've got here. This is the large terrain block that was empty last time, and the vault is built off the end of that. So what I did was I placed two spacer blocks here. These are little terrain cubes. I'll pick that up so you can see exactly what it is. It's the terrain cube. I placed two of those, and then one of these long thin ones here with another cube on the end. And then this is that piece there. And that gets repeated all the way down 4 times till you get to here. And then we've got another piece and that long thin piece, and you can see how this is laid out. And feel free to pause along the way. And there's intentionally a gap back here. All right. And then I've got two turned like that. And then along this side, we've got several of these here with a thin one. And then this end basically mirrors what was on the other end. And if you want to see what we're building, I've already built it on this side. This is what we're going to create. And I've already built it over here to save a little time and to show you the final result. And we got some pillars, some stairs, and I'll show you exactly how to build this on the other side in a moment. And then we have a pillar here with the flags that covers up that terrain seam. And that looks pretty good. So we're going to build the exact same thing over here now. And let's go ahead and take these out, because we don't need these anymore. So we'll start with this railing piece here. We'll put this on either side of the bridge like that. And then up under Building Sets Group 7, we're going to place this little piece right here on the end of that, like you see. And this piece will go all the way down here toward the end. And then we'll fill in the railing along the front. And it takes two of those little ones to get there. Alright, so there's the railing. Now let's pick this piece up, put it down. We're going to go to the next one over, which is this long, tall block. And we're going to put in the back wall of this little entrance area like you see there. And then we'll grab this tall piece and we're going to sit it on top of this little block, this little terrain cube, along the front. And then we put on the roof. Like that. For the stairs, up under the basic blocks, you'll put these in here, and this is styled using the Asgard stone. And you're just going to place these in between the gaps, like you see here. Alright, and then under the plants drawer, let's pick this thing up, get back to that part of the drawer. Fantasy Terrain 4, I've already styled it like I've shown you in previous episodes to use the Asgardian pillar. That sits in front of there like that. Up under Building Sets Group 7, we will put the railing up around the top, which gives the top a nice finished edge. Put a corner on each corner. And then just fill in the railings around the perimeter on the top. And so on all the way around. Alright, and then on the front, to help cover up those seams and make this a little bit more polished, we'll use the Asgardian trim piece. And this takes up 3 blocks wide basically, but we're going to end up with a block that isn't covered, and so we're going to put this towards the end, one nudge to the right. So it doesn't extend the full length of this, but it's good enough to cover up those seams. And there you go. You end up with that. And then to cover up this long, tall terrain seam over here, under building sets, or under the plants category, sorry, we'll use this piece, and we'll drop this right in here, just like that. Okay, and there we go. And then for the corner, like we have over there, we'll put in Fantasy Terrain Strip 2. Again, that's already styled for the Asgardian theme. This is going to sit in here like that. And we'll put a column over here, off the end, like you see there. Alright, so there we go. There are the sides around it. And then for the front of the palace, we're basically going to duplicate the same sort of build. And let me grab my screenshot for this to make sure I do this correctly. Okay, so under the terrain category, once again, we'll put in our little blocks here, about 2 blocks apart. This one needs to be capped over there. Okay. And then the stairs. Oops. Up against the block there, Troy. Like that. These pillars on top. These pillars in front. And then we will build the front of this across here like you see. Okay. And let me just double check here how far that goes back. Yeah, okay. And then this has to go like that. And we're going to put this too high with the terrain cube back here like so. Okay. This tall terrain block is going to sit right in the gap like you see there. One on either side. We'll get back to that in a moment. We'll grab our front piece here. Once again, we're going to do the same thing over here. Put a nice front on the end of that. That'll also cover up those terrain seams. And we'll also put the railings up on top around the perimeter of this, which will put that nice finished edge on the top. There we go. And then back to the plants drawer. Because this is the front of the palace, I want this to look really grand. So we're going to place one of those up on top. And there we are, the front of the palace. And a couple more little decorations here. Fantasy Terrain 3, this turns into that fountain. And let me make sure I get this placed just where I want it. I'm going to line this up back here about like that and center it on those stairs like that. And we'll style this using the Asgard style. I set that to be my theme. We'll also put one up on the top of these blocks back here. Like that. And then a couple of these pillars. And for these, I want to line this up with about the middle of that step, like you see there. And I'm going to pull this back to line this up with the stair back there. Do the same thing on this side. And we'll style those to use the Asgard theme as well. So there is the entrance to the palace and the courtyard out in front. Oh, and we can style these now that we've placed all the blocks around them. Again, those are the Asgard corner pillars. Alright, so there is the front of the palace. And I think that looks really good. Okay, so now coming back here, as we start building the palace in, this long corridor here, this long hallway is what you saw in the movie. This is what we're going to have. The throne room is going to sit up here, and then we're going to have another long hallway that runs towards that entrance and towards that entrance. Okay, so let's go ahead and fill the foundation blocks in for that. And we'll do the same thing on this side as well. And you'll notice this lines up with the corner of those blocks along the front. Okay. Back here we're going to do the same thing. This is going to line up with these blocks here. And now this isn't going to sit in here, so we're going to have to do a little bit of finagling. Use some smaller blocks. Like that. Over here, though, we can put in the full thing. Okay, so once again, the corners line up here. And notice this is all at the same height, and they're stacked up too high. This covers up the vault, so you can't see that from any direction. So if you're going to be flying around the toy box, you're not going to see the vault under there unless you fly under the terrain, which hopefully most players won't, because that's not a great place to go. Okay, and then we got to fill in this little bit back over here. Hold on a second, I got to find that screen grab. Right, okay. All right, so this is going to sit back here, and we're going to build some extra blocks in around this, but I don't want to do too much just yet. Because we got to build the throne room up here first. Alright, so let's put the floor in now, which will also cover up the vault. And for that, we're going to use, let me grab this little piece. We're going to use the next size larger, and this is going to sit in here just like this. And then we're going to put these in along here just to fill the gap. Excuse me. My goodness. My throat has really got a lot of phlegm today or something here. Alright, I am not seeing my floor shots here. Hang on. Oh, here we go. Okay. Alright, so this is going to sit in here. No. Next size larger. Sorry. That's going to sit in here like that. I don't think this goes... Yeah, I don't think this is going to matter, but we'll leave that blank for right now. Okay. And I'll put one more of these down. Like that. Okay. Now we're going to start building in the sides of the hallway here. And the first thing I want to do is come up to the basic blocks, grab the large floor, and we're going to cover up all of this texture here. And I want to orient this. I don't think it matters. I may not be able to tell from these screenshots, but I think this is the way I had it here. And you're just going to cover up all of the top of this. Oops. Not sure how that happened. Don't think that's where my thumb intended to send that. Okay. So now we have that. Gosh, I'm looking at this and Something is a little bit off here. All right, I'm going to go offline and take a look because I need to see how this part here gets put together. So let me do that and I'll be back in just a moment. Okay, so there is one little problem. It's pretty small though. You'll notice there's a gap over here that I did not place over here. So this needs to slide over like that. 2 nudges to the left. Line it up with the outside edge of that block there. That's where I went awry. And instead of that little block, I need to place 2 of these. Okay, so that's now matching what I have on that side. And now this is going to work a little bit better. Right, so this piece sits in here then like that on either side. And then this piece is going to sit just like you see there. And that creates the opening for us to get into the palace. Okay, so that is the opening for the palace. And that's the part that I was missing. Okay, now the next part of this, I need to see. Here we go. Okay, so coming under the blocks drawer, basic blocks. I'm looking now for not that one, but the wedge block. Our starting point is going to be right here, and we're going to put this half a block on there just like you see, like that, and actually like that. Okay, so make sure it overlaps like you see there. And then we go back to the stairs, and just to save a little bit of time and make this go quicker, I'll pick this up, put it down. That'll get us back to that part of the drawer. Okay, so we're going to place 1, and then we're going to skip. We're going to place 2, and skip, and 2, and skip. Like you see there, okay? And then flip around on the other side and do the exact same thing. Okay, so that creates the stairs. And then we'll pick this little wedge up, go back to our square block, and I want to rotate this so that the brick pattern lines up with what's over there on the floor. We'll put one of these in between like that, and another one right there like that. Same thing on the other side. Okay. Then we go to the plants and we put in the pillars. Same thing on the other side. And because this looks a little bit empty right here, I'm going to stick a pillar in here as well. So there we go. There's our pillars and our stairs in between. So that looks really good. And then these are going to sit up here And we're going to place 3 of them. Flip that around, do the same thing on this side, right down the middle of those blocks. That puts that nice little mesh grid in there like you see in the movie. So that's looking pretty good. Alright, and then down to the blocks drawer, the terrain cube. I'm going to place 1 in here like this, 1 in there like that. And I need to find the corner. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I get myself twisted around pretty easily when I'm looking at the screenshots. Okay, and then the column goes here with a block on top. Same thing on the other side. Is that right? All right, let's let's mirror this first. There we go. It sits in over here. Put this up on top. Okay. And then down each side we're going to do the same thing that we did before. So we're going to leave 2 spaces for stairs. And then put in the block. 2 spaces for stairs. Put in the block. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Mirror that on this side. And then put in the stairs. And you're basically going to build the same kind of thing we just did. Put these all the way down along there, and on the other side back over here and put the pillars in, and so on all the way down, and mirror that over here. So again, stairs, leave a gap for the block, 2 stairs, a gap for the block, and so on. Mirror that on the other side as well. Okay? And then when you're done with that, then put the railings in around the outside. And for the railing, again, building sets group 7. We need the inner corner this time. That sits here. Put the railing in all the way down, connect to the block over there till it's touching the railing here, all the way down till it touches that block. And you may have to fit some smaller ones in here, like you see. So I'm going to go ahead and fill in all of this offline, and I'll be back in just a moment. Okay, I am back, and I have added in all of the other detail with the columns. The railings are all the way down to the corner. All the way down to the corners. I've placed 2 of these here, again centered on that block down below, and did the same thing on the other side. The railing is run all the way around the outside. Over here we've got again 2 of these down the middle with the railing run all the way down, and I've run the stairs as you see them there. So this stairway is hanging off the end over here, we'll fix that in a moment. So basically, all the same details, just all filled in. Now over here we did not have room to put a second one of these in because of the staircase that goes down to the vault. And so I just left this open and we ran the railing here all the way down. Alright, so that's what we have. And I also placed a couple of these little braziers from the decorations drawer on either side, like you see there. So this is looking pretty good so far. The next thing I want to do is work on the throne area here on this end. And we have some gaps here that are looking into the vault, so we need to plug those up. So first thing we're going to do is grab this piece and put it back, put another one up on top of it, stick a little floor section up in here to cover that up. Okay, and that little floor piece lines up with the piece we just put in, so that looks pretty good. And then over here we've got another little gap. So for this one, because we have this other block that's sitting there, we'll have to kind of plug this a little bit. So like that. Okay. All right, and then over here, let me pull up my screenshot. I want to make sure I fill this in correctly from the front. Okay. So we're going to grab this wall, and this is going to sit just like you see there. Oops. And then we'll put another one over here like this. No, back here. I knew that didn't look right. We'll stack that too high. Okay, so that is going to be going into the throne room. We'll put another one of these on this side to match that one. Okay, and then we'll go to the blocks drawer. We're going to place this piece in here like that. And a couple of these pieces in there like that. I want to leave 2 spaces here for stairs that go match what's across the way. So that means we have 2 blocks sitting here. And 2 blocks sitting there. Okay. And then we're going to place 1 block out here, 1 block out here. And then this will be for the stairs leading up to the throne. So we're going to put 4 of these across there like that. I'll stick 2 of these in here like that. And there we go. Back to the plants. We'll place a pillar here on that side of the stairs, a pillar there, and then a pillar on either side of these stairs. Okay, now we have some really ugly looking seams on top of this, so we're going to use this block floor to cover that up. And I got the brick turned to match the orientation of the bricks down here. We'll do the same thing on this side. That just helps hide those ugly gaps in the floor, those seams. we go. And then let's pick this little piece of floor up, put it down. We're going to use this for the floor of the throne. That's going to sit in there just like you see right there. And now this lines up with the stairs going down into the vault. And let's put a couple of these braziers up on the platform up here. The legs of it are kind of in a little triangular shape, so you can see the orientation that I'm using there for the throne. Okay, and then on the back side, go back to the plants drawer. We'll put one of these in back here for the backdrop of the throne. Alright, so that looks pretty good. I like that. Alright, the last thing we have then is the ceiling. And just double checking here. Okay, there's a couple of little blocks we want to put in here. On either side. Like that. And then we are ready for the ceiling. So let me go grab my screenshot for this. Okay. So we're going to start over here on this end. And the ceiling, because of these pillars, is going to be at the same level as these blocks here. All right? So we're going to begin by running some of these down along the way like this. And the reason I'm doing that is because it's not wide enough to put these too wide. So we have this, and we have this. And that makes it wide enough. We'll deal with that little intersection there in a moment. Okay, so then we have that. And basically, at this point, you're just going to fill in the ceiling. That little piece there. And just figuring out what we've got here. Okay, so that's going to end up connecting there. This ends up over here. I want to try to keep those blocks all lined up, texture-wise, the same way. Okay. And then the large block, we're going to move this 2 nudges over to the right, so it's going to go right up against those plants. And doing that brings it right out here to the front. So we have that. And then on this side, basically the same sort of thing. That all the way out against the plants. There. And there's the ceiling for the palace. And that looks really, really, really good. All right, let me just double check. I think that's it, but I want to make sure my screen grabs here. I haven't missed anything. Yeah, the ceiling looks pretty good. Now, on the front over here, you do have this ugliness up here. If you wanted to, you could try to cover that up with the trim piece, but you're still going to have the ugliness below this thing. So I'm not sure how much that actually buys you. It just covers up one terrain seam on that top panel. But on the other hand, that looks fairly decent, so you could consider doing that on either end of this. It's a nice little finishing touch. And as you can see what that looked like compared to this, I think it does look a little bit better. Yeah, I think that looks much nicer doing it that way. So that puts a good little finishing touch over there. And as far as the rest of this goes, I think this is looking pretty decent. Of course, you start to get a little bit of flicker when you're underneath here. I don't think there's really all that much you can do about it. And with that, the build exercise for this toy box is done. I'm going to take a little break now for Christmas, but next week I'll be returning to my sports series to show you how to build a fun two-player baseball game. Thank you for watching. Before you go, please like and subscribe so you don't miss my next toy box projects, and leave a comment to let me know what you think of the palace and my Asgard build now that it's finished. Merry Christmas, everyone, and I'll see you next time.